One. What is good, everybody? It's your boy Sportspsp in the building. Hope you all enjoying your Monday, whether Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday night. Oh man, what a yesterday was a great day as far as football, and I think week 13 will be even more exciting this upcoming Sunday. Let me tell you why. One particular game. To a lot of people, it may not seem like an exciting, intriguing game. And I'm talking about between the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. You look at their records, Cleveland is probably, they're probably third or fourth in the AFC North Division. And obviously, Houston is in last place in the AFC South Division. They'll probably end up having the number one pick. And who knows? They'll either draft Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, because they need help at the quarterback position, or they want to look at a different direction and possibly draft Will Anderson from Alabama. But that's a story for another day. But what is very intriguing is between that matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans is the return of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, this will be his first game back after serving his 11-game suspension because of violating the league's personal conduct policy, because of all the sexual assault, sexual misconduct allegations he was dealing with since 2021 and also this year. It's going to be Deshaun Watson's first game back since his final football game, his last football game, which was January of 2021 against the Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans lost that game, and J.J. Watt, his last game as a Houston Texan, after the game, he talked to Deshaun Watson. You can hear it on the Sound FX that he felt sorry that the Texans wasted away one of Deshaun Watson's best years. And it was Deshaun Watson's best year because that was his year without DeAndre Hopkins. Remember, the Houston Texans traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals and didn't even receive a first-round pick. But Deshaun Watson in 2020 was sensational that year. Led the NFL in passing yards, threw 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and made the Pro Bowl that year. And looked like a top 3, top 5 quarterback after that season. So after that season, he had issues within the Houston Texans organization. Ultimately, he wanted out of Houston. He demanded a trade. And then the sexual assault allegations popped up. And then before the 2022-2023 NFL season, Houston finally trades Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. Houston ends up getting a bunch of draft picks, draft compensation. Furthermore, Cleveland gave Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed because they felt like they had enough of Baker Mayfield, who they drafted with the number 1 overall pick in 2018. They felt like, you know what, in order for us to get to the promised land, which is the Super Bowl, and win a Super Bowl, Deshaun Watson is a significant upgrade to Baker Mayfield, and we need to do whatever we can to make that happen. With Deshaun Watson, look, here's the thing. No matter what you may think of Deshaun Watson as the football player, and he is a great football player. When available, he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback. But unfortunately, with Deshaun Watson, outside the great football player, you're going to think of the sexual assault, sexual misconduct allegations. And it's not like a normal he said, she said. It's 20 plus women that have come forward that came forward against Deshaun Watson. So he has to live with this for the rest of his life, unfortunately. And look, he has no one to blame but himself. He put himself involved in these situations. Even though he wasn't criminally charged, even though nothing happened, even though he hasn't served any jail time, no convictions or anything like that. But court of public opinion, the numerous allegations And Judge Sue Robinson, who evaluated the case, I mean, if you go look at what she said regarding Deshaun Watson in terms of the situation, she decided to hand Deshaun Watson a 6-game suspension, described his behavior as predatory, and a bunch of other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. But the NFL had a problem with Judge Sue Robinson going with the 6-game suspension. They decided to take matters into their own hands and increase the suspension. So instead of 6 games, 11 games. Look, Deshaun Watson, look, no matter what you may think of him as a football player, the sexual assault allegations, all the stuff that he was involved with, that's going to come to your mind. Michael Vick, perfect example. He was an electric and exciting football player, but the first thing that pops to your mind when you think of Michael Vick, dogfighting. Or Ben Roethlisberger. Even though he's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowls, with a historic franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you're going to think of the sexual assault allegations he was involved with. So, Deshaun Watson, the only way, I mean, he can't change the past, but the only thing that he can do is just move forward, move on with his life, and not put himself involved in these situations anymore. Because if he does, his career might be over. Who knows? The NFL, the only reason why I see the NFL might give him another chance is because teams, owners want a quarterback of Deshaun Watson's caliber. If Deshaun Watson weren't a great football player, no team would want to bring him on because he's not worth it. Why worth all the trouble? It's going to be interesting to see how Deshaun Watson handles his first game back. I expect him to be rusty because he's missed a lot of football. So when you've missed a certain amount of football, you're going to be rusty. It's also going to be interesting to see how he handles the fan base when he enters the field. There's going to be a lot of boos in H-Town because A, he demanded a trade, and B, because of the situations that he put himself in. So I expect a lot of boos. And I expect a lot of derogatory things said at Deshaun Watson's direction. I expect that. That is unequivocal, in my opinion. And it's going to be interesting to see how he handles those circumstances, how the media, the public, the fan base in Houston, how they're going to treat him. It is going to be interesting to see how he handles those circumstances. And it's one of those games, regardless of the team's record, it's one of those games it should be nationally televised. I believe it should be nationally televised because, and I think there could be a reason why the NFL decided to hand Deshaun Watson an 11-game suspension. Because because of ratings, because of revenue, who knows? Because Deshaun Watson, a controversial football player, going back to H-Town, the fan base, the people there, boos. He's going to hear a lot of criticism. So it's going to definitely intensify ratings, and it's definitely going to give the media and the public a lot to talk about. So that's what I think. So anyway, let me know in the comments section below. What do you expect Deshaun Watson in his first game back? Do you expect him to be rusty? Do you think he will not handle the expectations, the circumstances well in his first game back? Do you think he will fold? Whatever the case may be. Aside of that, it's your boy Sports PSP. Hope you all enjoying the rest of your Monday, and God bless.